Today's podcast has been sponsored by Apricity. If you're trying to conceive, imagine a world where fertility care is free of stigma, full of support and tailored just for you. With Apricity Fertility, that world is closer than you think. Apricity's virtual fertility clinic makes care accessible and personal. From at-home diagnostic testing to virtual consultations and expert treatment like IVF and egg freezing, they're redefining fertility care. Plus, their success rates surpass the UK national average, giving you even more hope on your journey. With the Apricity app and your own personal advisor, you're supported every step of the way, 7 days a week. Apricity understands that building a family shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Visit www.apricityfertility.com today. Apricity, fertility care for the modern woman. Hello and welcome back to Outspoken by Femme Health. You're joined by Steph, one of the founders, and Laura.
Hi.
And we have a very exciting guest joining us today. We have the incredible Gordon Lott from Dr. Vegan. He is one of our newest brands stocked on Femme Health. And actually, Gordon, you are the first brand to join our podcast. So huge welcome.
Brilliant. I'm delighted to hear that and very honoured. Thank you.
We're slightly intimidated when I was reading your bio on your website. It was like 20 years of e-commerce experience. Can you help us?
That just means I'm old, unfortunately.
But doing some absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, when I was planning for this podcast yesterday, I was just reading your Trustpilot reviews again. I've actually, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the podcast, never read so many 5-star reviews over and over again.
Yeah, and do you know what? And I say this to everyone that, you can have, and you guys will know this, you have good days, bad days at work, and good sales days, bad sales days. Yeah, there's so many different things that make your day good or bad or average. I always say consistently, nothing ever makes my day as good as it can get than a brilliant review where a customer says we've changed their life or they feel completely different. Likewise, nothing will ruin my day as much as when a customer says, I'm sorry, this didn't work for me. Because it just, makes you want to go and do more and find a solution.
Well, that's incredible. Well, so who is Gordon Lott then? And how did you come to launch Dr. Vegan? Tell us a little bit about the history.
So my background originally was in financial services many years ago in sort of finance and marketing roles. And back in 2014, I joined a social network for runners, for everyday runners, to basically help people get up off the sofa, get active, get fit, get healthy. Whether that's running, literally 1K, 5K or 10K. It wasn't about elite runners, but it was much more about everyday people trying to get fit. And that's when I was my first entrance into, as I said, back in 2014, into the sort of health and wellness space, fitness, activity. I'm a big fan of sport, big fan of people exercising regularly. So it's so important to the health. And unfortunately, people don't realise that.
I do keep telling myself
and
as well.
Part of that,
That's why you're coming to Parkrun with me on Sunday.
Yes, we are heading to the Parkrun on Sunday.
Oh, brilliant. Well, a Parkrun has been a phenomenon. It's wonderful because it just gives people that once a week target to go for. And nutrition and diet as well is important. And that was back then. And then I joined a global supplements business called Nature's Bounty Company, which is one of the largest supplement companies in the world. And that was my first exposure to how supplements were made.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just, frankly, it was very surprising and scary when you learn about what ingredients go into supplements. And that was the start of Dr. Vegan. And I could tell you, there were loads of things. You just basically, the biggest thing that stood out for me when I was there and when I started looking at all the market, the supplements that you can buy on a supermarket shelf, the supplements that might be in a health food store, you had these supposed premium supplements that were still containing really bad ingredients. 1, 2, their formulas just weren't what you would call comprehensive formulas. They had a couple of good ingredients, but it wasn't going to change someone's genuine health issues. And when I left there, I thought, right, there's got to be a better way.
And that's how it all started. So when...
And that's how it started. And listen, the main things were, the biggest trends were you had consumers, and I know we're going to come and talk to this, but we spotted that consumers, non-vegans, were looking for clean, plant-based ingredients. So you don't have to be vegan to eat vegan. We all try and actually be a bit more healthy, whatever diet we follow. And actually, when it comes to supplements, the more you're educated, the more you realise that they contain nasty animal ingredients, the more they contain additives, and actually you realise a vegan supplement is actually going to be clean for you. What really annoyed me is that consumers would have the choice between sort of supplements on a supermarket shelf, which contain ridiculous levels of additives, low dosages of ingredients, so going to make no benefit. And the moment they wanted better quality supplements, but the best ingredients, they were having to be paying extortionate prices, and that just didn't seem fair or right. Why should you have to pay a silly price for the best ingredients that's going to make the most difference to you? And then also the packaging, and there is plastic and glass packaging everywhere. I mean, just the waste is phenomenal. So Dr. Vegan came about because it was a badge of quality, and basically we are the company is a team of practitioners who develop supplements with high dosages and comprehensive formulas. So whenever we create a formula, we start with a blank sheet of paper that says, okay, what do we need to put in this to make a real difference? What ingredient, and then what level? And we start from that. And that may sound really obvious, but actually that's not how most companies start. They start with, we want this product at this price point.
How do we get there?
So
where are we
and that's the real
in terms of regulation then? How is this happening? How are we having glass and plastic and, dosages that won't make a difference? Where are we up to in terms of that?
Well, it's a really good question. So we're regulated by the FSA. And there's a level of regulation. The regulation is really focused about what you can say about an ingredient, not really what you can put in to a formula. So to give you an example, titanium dioxide, which has been used in supplements for years, was then studies began to show in the early 2010 and beyond that actually it could be linked to cancer. This has been used in supplements for a very long time. So it then got classified as a carcinogen. In 2020, France banned the use of titanium dioxide in supplements. The EU said that it shouldn't be used, but didn't say it can't be used. And until 3 months ago, the number one pregnancy supplement in the UK, and I'm not going to mention
probably guess
included titanium dioxide.
Well, I probably used it then in both my pregnancies.
Same.
And that supplement still contains talcum powder. So talcum powder is one of the most common additives in supplements. People just need to look at the ingredients and it'll be there. And unfortunately, there are now these aren't necessarily terrible for you. They're not necessarily going to be bad for you, but there are, talcum powder. You only need to Google talc and look at the class action lawsuits that have been going on around talc. And whether or not that particular ingredient or any other nasty additive, and which there are many, you'll get loads of supplements with 1 or 2 active ingredients and 5, 6, 7, 10 additives. Whether or not they're going to be harmful, they will all have some level of side effects. The point is they're completely unnecessary. That is the point. They are unnecessary, and yet they're only put in there to lower manufacturing costs and reduce the price at the expense of someone's health.
So that leads me on then to your price, because I think when we were onboarding you for Femme and we were doing a product review, this is what we were so shocked about with Dr. Vegan, is that you're doing all this incredible clean stuff, great stuff with the packaging, really eco-friendly, really, really miles ahead than other brands. But then the price point is really still accessible. So how is that possible when other people say, well, it's because it's clean, it's because of this, it's because of that, this is why the price is what it is?
Well, you have the category is characterised by as I said, so it's very polarized. You have the sort of the very, very basic white label products, which are cheap forms of ingredients. To give you an example, magnesium, there are over 12 different forms of magnesium. So you've got magnesium oxide, again, which is in the leading, apparently the number one menopause supplement in the UK. Magnesium oxide is one of the worst forms of magnesium, versus, say, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, other great forms which are better for you. Magnesium oxide is much, much cheaper than those other forms. So that will be included in what you would call a very mass market supplement. And you then have other supplements which many do have some good ingredients. They may not have necessarily the best formulas, but they've got some good ingredients in them. And these companies are charging big prices. And I think the internet has played a big role in that. People are led by influencers, by experts who are all getting very big commissions on selling these things. And they are, their margins are 200% plus on many of these.
Did you make an active decision as a business then that you weren't going to be in this for huge profit? You were making a difference.
Yeah. We wanted to make, so we set our margin. We said that is a fair, reasonable margin that we can run the business on. We are not going to overcharge. With any new formula, we price at that. And I'll give you an example. One of our supplements is ashwagandha KSM 66, and it's the best form of ashwagandha. It's had the most clinical trials. It's acclaimed worldwide by scientists. We sell our ashwagandha KSM 66 for $10.99. There is more than one other brand, so there's one other brand, but there are many more than this, selling the very same ingredient from the very same factory in Rajasthan, northern India. And they're selling it for £20 or more, and we sell, and that just tells you, right? So, believe you me, we're not making a big amount of money on that. We're making a fair amount, but it just shows you how much money these other brands are making on that very same ingredient from the same.
It's actually quite scary.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's huge successes. Like we say, we've seen them in the reviews. Would you say that shift is because we're more health conscious? I know a lot of brands have said that we saw a huge shift after the pandemic.
Yeah,
people are understanding a little bit more because these other supplements are still selling. You've just mentioned one of the market leaders in the pregnancy supplement. They're still market leaders. So are we understanding it? Where would you say that the success is coming from?
So I think what we're seeing is definitely a shift in consumer appreciation and understanding of health, absolutely, because of the pandemic. And there's a number of factors to it. So diet, so nutrition education in this country is not great, but it's also the same in every other country. So we're not different in that. People have become more aware of their diets, so they are becoming more aware of what they're eating. They're more aware of how to take preventative action, proactive care of their health, and that both through diet and through supplements. So that's absolutely happening. And then within the world of supplements, you've got different needs. So take a pregnancy supplement. That's absolutely recommended because there are some very specific nutrients women need during pregnancy. And that's those sort of ones have been well known. You've then got categories which have seen some sort of quite explosive growth in the last 5-10 years. So menopause, which I know we'll come on to, is one category that women have suffered for years with this, with a lack of education of what happens, not knowing what goes on, and faced with an HRT or nothing choice. And most people don't realise that less than 15% of women in the UK, menopausal women in the UK, take HRT. Wow. So it's a really small proportion. Most don't want to, and it's very similar worldwide, and most don't want to opt down that route. But actually the education, therefore, well, what can you do instead, has been really poor. And actually in the last 5-10 years, you've seen growth in the people understanding dietary changes, lifestyle changes, and natural supplements like MenoFriend. And then you've got other conditions that have also grown. So one of the big categories within supplements has been gut health, probiotics. And that gut health is one of the newest areas of research that has been emerging. So it's only really been researched for 20-25 years, which in the world of health is actually a relatively short period of time. And the reason probiotics are now really growing rapidly is because that research is starting to come out. And people see actually the evidence of what probiotics can do to your health. So I think it's a number of factors of both new science, new learnings, as well as general.
Does this kind of tie into ultra processed foods, and there's a bit more discussion about how, when you're buying things from supermarkets, you need to be more aware of, because I did Zoe a few years ago, and it's really opened my eyes. It's to, when you're looking, I literally look at the packet on everything I buy now, because I think, why am I eating that if I wouldn't put it in my cooking at home? Yeah. And I think it's the same sort of argument, isn't it? You shouldn't be putting something in your body that doesn't belong there.
Totally right. And you're right. And people are definitely more aware of fast foods, ultra-processed foods. That said, you've got, you've got all these powdered supplements. Powder shakes, green powders, again, won't mention names, charging silly prices. That's an ultra processed food with less nutrients than a high quality daily multi, and certainly less nutrients than a well balanced meal. So I think you've got more awareness of ultra processed foods, definitely, and people eating more healthily generally, but there's a long way to go. At the same time, you've got these new ultra processed foods with sweeteners in, which are completely unnecessary. So you've got another damaging dynamic happening in the market.
And it's understanding what you're looking for. I think
I think people get a bit bewildered as well, don't they? What do I need to do? How can I make a change? It can seem a bit overwhelming, I think, as well at the beginning.
I think that's why this brand, Dr. Vegan, is so successful, though, because at least you don't really have to know it all. You simply know it's clean.
Yeah, and listen, our purpose, and this is so when we talk about the start of Dr. Vegan, actually one of the other critical factors was I myself, whenever I walked into a supplement store, whether it's a big high street chain or a small health food store, and actually much less so in health, small health food stores can be really helpful in helping you understand your holistic health. But going to a standard health food store and you say you've got an X problem with your joints or your gut or something, and typically they'll just take you to a supplement where you need this, rather than say, which is what if you went for a consultation, one-to-one consultation with a nutritionist, and saying, okay, what's your diet? What are you eating at the moment? What are you not eating? And looking at the root cause, and diet is everything. So we have over 100,000 visitors to our website every month, which for a small business like us,
incredible.
And that's because we provide free nutrition advice and on all things from women's health, men's health, gut health, anxiety, and so many things. And that's what I call our purpose, is to help inspire and educate people on a healthier diet. And 90% of our customers are not vegan, which shows that people are just looking for those healthier tips and advice on how they can improve their diet.
Now, I did want to go on and talk about MenoFriend, just because I couldn't believe how many reviews were about that on Trustpilot. But before we do that, it's just, we've launched 6 weeks ago tomorrow, so we're still really trying to understand our customer. We're having a lot of inquiries, and our niche really is fertility and conception. That really is what we are about. But what we're actually finding is we're having a lot of inquiries about menstrual cycles and balancing them and pain and regulating them. Do you have anything in your line that you would recommend as somebody that is trying to regulate their cycle?
Yes. So one of our best sellers in our women's health category is something called PMS Hero. So women typically are faced when they've got PMS symptoms, as all those things, you're bloating, breast tenderness, stomach cramps, moods, irritability. It's sort of paracetamol, ibuprofen's the most sort of common choice. Binge eating on chocolate and so forth, and it's classic. And actually very little else, other option. And so we created, and that we only ever create formulas where we believe consumers are being underserved or not served at all. And PMS and regulating and relieving symptoms during the monthly cycle was one of those areas. So we developed PMS Hero, which naturally helps regulate the fluctuations in hormones, and it's the fluctuations in hormones during the cycle that creates the symptoms, which is just the same during menopause as well. It's not the decline in estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone during menopause itself. It's actually the steep the sharp fluctuations in the hormones which create the symptoms.
Okay.
And that's the same for PMS. So PMS Hero is a brilliant formula for helping regulate hormones through the cycle and therefore relieve.
It's incredible because we talk a lot about when you have your first period, and you're told, don't get pregnant. Here's your sanitary products, and there's your pill, and that'll help with the pain. And that is really...
That is what you get.
That is
That's
what we
not
got.
a joke.
Yeah, that is what we got when we were... When we were younger.
15,
Yeah, and now it's like, hang on, it can't be normal that we're in this much pain or we're suffering. So that's absolutely incredible.
I love that you include ashwagandha as well. It's one of my favourite ingredients. It really, really helps as well. It makes a big difference to me.
Yeah. It's really important. And the chasteberry, the Agnus castus, the Dong Quai and PMS Hero, those are really powerful natural botanical ingredients that really help. And you know what? Yeah, we always say if you don't need supplements, that's a good thing. I mean, it really is, right? If you've got a brilliant diet and you're in great healthy state, wonderful. But if you do, PMS Hero is one of those formulas that you can take typically most people begin to really enjoy the benefits in the second cycle. But if after 2 and 3 cycles actually you're feeling normal again, then you don't need to take it, and it's a great thing. But equally, if you do, it sort of also works as a daily multivitamin as well.
Amazing.
Incredible stuff. So tell us a little bit more then about MenoFriend. So it can be taken along with HRT, can't it?
Yeah. So MenoFriend was created with a hormone health expert who's actually down here in Hampshire, a lady called Dr. Katie Hodgkinson, and our nutritionist. And Katie specialises in menopause and women's health. Our nutritionists have obviously got a lot of expertise in that area, and it was really a reaction. I mean, I'm 50. At my age, I know plenty of women around my friends and families and acquaintances who are going through the menopause phase. And 4 or 5 years ago, when actually you looked at it, the options, the education around menopause was poor. The options of what to take to relieve symptoms, and the big thing about menopause, I mean, there's over 30 what you would call common symptoms. There's actually technically up to 100, but on average, women will experience 10 symptoms, but that mixture of symptoms can be completely different for some people versus others. So someone might have gum disease and tinnitus, which are really common symptoms, versus obviously hot flushes and night sweats that everyone talks about. But brain fog, as an example, is the number one symptom. So when you start looking at all of these various symptoms, first thing to say is there is no one silver bullet to menopause, right? There is no one solution. It's always a combination of things. And we were looking at the options and just felt that there was insufficient. There was not a what we would call an all-encompassing natural formula, botanicals that could help women through menopause and perimenopause and menopause. And that was the birth of it. It's done phenomenally well. I think it's the fastest growing natural supplement for menopause.
Is it your bestseller?
It's one of our bestsellers. Alongside our probiotic Gut Works, it's our bestseller, and it's very, very effective. And so research, to give you an example, we just conducted research among 1,500 women. So we're a very research-led business. We research health topics that are really under-researched, and we research the efficacy of our formulas. And so 2 years ago, we did a survey on over 1,000 women on menopause and all the symptoms, and we've just completed this survey of 1,500 women, so which is the largest that's been conducted on menopause and gut health. And within that, I can come on to the gut health issues, but we found 89% of women, so this included 996 women who'd been taking MenoFriend, and it was shown to be effective for 89% of women who took MenoFriend for 60 days.
Do you know what's incredible about that is that you've actually trialed it on a huge amount of women. How many times do you see on an advert when you're watching telly, trialed on 121 women or 23 women?
Well, the fact that you've even done the research, because it's something like 2.5% of all research done on women's health. It's just appalling anyway. So that's really good.
It's shocking. So we know over 40,000 women in the UK have taken MenoFriend. So it's got great take up because it's the best natural formula out there. And you're right. And the survey was on women's gut health menopause, which is really a sort of not well understood area of menopause. Yet, so if you ask all the health specialists, everyone knows that gut health is affected during menopause. And because your gut microbiome helps regulate hormones, and likewise your hormones help maintain the health of your gut microbiome. So any changes in the hormones will lead to a change in the gut microbiome. But no one had actually looked at quantifying what are the symptoms that emerge during menopause and perimenopause. Bloating, diarrhea, constipation, change in the smell of your stools and your urine, stomach cramps, acid reflux. And so we conducted this research, and it's fascinating. And we literally only just pulled the results, collated the results 2 weeks ago. And 91% of women going through menopause notice a change in their gut.
Wow.
And yet that's really big. And bloating is the most common. Bloating, constipation, acid reflux are the biggest changes that women experience during menopause, and which all leads to weight gain, lack of confidence, anxiety. When you see your body changing as a result of menopause, it's this circular effect of the symptoms.
I mean, on that note, how much do we women go through?
I know. I was just thinking that.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Have we not just had enough by now?
I know. We've just had enough by that point. Give us a break.
Yeah. I know, and as a man, I very much sympathise with our sisters and wife and a daughter, and and the research into women's health is just so important because there's been so little, and I think there is so much more that can be done to help women. As I said, it's not just supplements; it's diet, it's exercise. There are basic dietary changes women can make during the menstrual cycle or during menopause, which really, really help. But our research showed only 60% of women had made changes to their diet. So actually, and then who's telling them which changes are the most effective?
I think this is it. It's about being told, because I think if you looked at the statistics, haven't got them here, of how many people take folic acid during pregnancy, I would say that it's probably quite high because we're being specifically told. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It's more about the messaging.
Yeah, but that's...
It's a really good point, and you are right. That you can sometimes almost be at risk of giving too much information about causes and what. And actually, just say, our research said there are three very common, three most effective changes women can make. One, this is to improve gut health during menopause. One was increasing plants and vegetables. Two was reducing or avoiding alcohol. And three was increasing fibre. And there was also avoiding dairy was also very common because that's one of the most common food intolerances. But just those three, increasing plants and vegetables, reducing or avoiding alcohol, and increasing fibre, are the three most effective changes you can make to your diet.
So what does the future look like for Dr. Vegan? Any further plans?
Yeah, do you know what? So going back to what we were talking earlier about reviews and customer feedback, we've got a team of passionate people who are just like me. Any time we get that customer feedback that says, wow, you've literally changed my life. And I'm sure you guys are the same when you have a new customer who's found something with you guys and says, wow, this has been amazing. It's wonderful. You can't beat that feeling. We're here to help people. So we're always looking at new areas where we can create new, more effective products that consumers don't have at the moment. So we've got three new exciting ones in the first half of the year. So we've just launched actually in the men's health area. So the men's health, believe it or not, I appreciate there's a far more to do in women's health, but actually ask the average man where their prostate is,
they don't know
how they should look after their prostate health. They wouldn't have a clue. So there's a huge area to address there. So we just launched a unique all-in-one men's health formula, which is probiotics and botanicals and vitamins. We have a new fibre complex coming out and a perimenophrine formula. So this is specifically designed to address the hormone fluctuations during perimenopause and the symptoms associated. and a couple of other exciting ones in the second half of the year, which I can't mention
just yet. Maybe you will give us the inside scoop as we head through 24. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Gordon. It has been incredible. And thank you for being our first brand on Outspoken. The full range is stocked on our website. That is femhealth.co.uk. And head over to Gordon's website at Dr. Vegan, where there is a lot of nutritionist support. So I thought, do you want to just tell us a little bit about that before? It's a quiz, isn't it? Or is it like an application?
Yeah. Well, we have. So as I said, what's central to what we do is providing free nutrition advice, and also which is about diet and health. And also, if anyone's considering taking supplements and they've got medication, it's really important you check whether you can take them or not. So we have a team of nutritionists and a pharmacist who can provide advice. So that's, if you just email us at team@drvegan.com, we can always provide that advice. And then we also have this as you say, this health check on the website called the Diet Profile. And what it does, it's a really it gives you a simple window into your diet. You tell us the foods you're eating, what you're not eating, any particular health issues that you've got, and then we present back to you, the nutrients that those foods are providing. So whether it's zinc, magnesium, iron, calcium, what are the best nutrients you're getting from your diet, and also what are you not getting? And then we also show you how you compare to others. So a lot of people actually just want to know, is my diet good or bad, and how bad am I? So we show you how your diet compares to other people. And then if you're considering supplements, we should suggest supplements to consider for any particular health concerns.
Amazing. It sounds incredible. Well, keep doing what you're doing, because I mean, there is thousands of women that are very, very happy. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you guys. Really enjoyed
and
talking
you.
to you.
Thanks,
And we're really pleased to be working
You
with you.
too.
As well.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.